My name is Xiaosi Gu. I'm an associate professor in Psychiatry and Neuroscience, and also the director for Center for Computational Psychiatry here at Mount Sinai. Today, I'm really glad to share with you what my research involves and some of the new exciting directions we're going into. Briefly speaking, my lab is interested in examining how the brain processes information during complex situations such as social interaction. And we also take that to the next level by examining the exact so-called algorithms involved in these social processes, and especially how they are broken down across various psychiatric disorders. The first major research direction in my lab right now is a concept called social controllability. And this refers to the sense that people have influence over their social situations during interaction. Using computational modeling and functional MRI, we found that a part of the brain called the ventral medial prefrontal cortex is really important for computing how much influence one might have on not just current but future interactions through their own decision making. And we're now taking this to examine how this process might be broken down across a few different disorders such as autism spectrum disorder, borderline personality disorder, etc. The second major direction in my lab examines a very subjective state called craving. And we know that craving is really essential for drug addiction, but also across some other non-drug related type of addictions. For example, we can crave for a particular action, right? If you're really into exercise and you don't get to do it, you might be craving for that. So my lab has come up with paradigms and also models to show that craving is not entirely driven passively by the external stimulus, a drug, an action, a routine that you might be longing for. Instead, it's also really influenced by our own expectation. And we've also shown that in the brain, there are very specific brain regions that compute this process. So one of the key regions is called the insular cortex. We are taking this direction further now across a few substance use disorders, as well as binge eating and social media addiction. I'm really excited about some of the future directions in my lab. Briefly speaking, we're taking the social brain into both a deeper level as well as a broader scale. By deeper, I meant that we are now using intracranial recording techniques in humans. These are patients that come to us for movement disorders or depression or OCD that are implanted with deep brain stimulation electrodes, or patients with epilepsy who come here to do epilepsy monitoring and are also implanted with electrodes. Through these recordings, we can access neuronal activities and global neural activities at a spatial temporal scale that was never done before for social neuroscience. So we're really glad that this is happening here, and hope to discover more interesting findings in the near future. By broader, I meant that we are taking our findings and models also to apply to a wide spectrum of psychiatric disorders. So we have both laboratory studies that examine a very wide sort of spectrum of disorders, including autism spectrum disorder, borderline personality disorder, social anxiety, depression, etc. We are also very excited to share that we just launched an app called the Social Brain app that is free to download and free to play. And we're hoping that through this app, we'll be able to access social function and their relationship to mental health across the entire population in the US. And this gives us the opportunity to really have a diverse sample in our study so that our findings will be much more generalizable and be applied to diverse demographics. Thank you for listening. I really hope that we'll be sharing with you some exciting results very soon.